Hello and welcome to Nithrania YouTube channel. My name is Branislav Berec and this is my list of top 100 games of all time as of 2024. I used to do top 50 previously, but now I do top 100 because my taste has changed. I will talk about it in a minute. My taste has changed and I did this list, I made it from scratch. So I didn't take my list from the previous year or previous years. I simply wrote down all the games which I thought could make it into my top 50. And when I finished, I found a list of roughly 130 games, which was quite a lot. So after I ranked most of these games, after maybe ranking 70, 80 of these games, I realized that I almost have the full top 100. So I decided to continue and finish the entire list. So I ended up with top 100 and I decided to make my first ever top 100 instead of top 50, just top 100 games of all time. So here it is. And as I mentioned that my gaming taste has changed, it did. It didn't change super dramatically, but it changed quite a bit. You will see that I no longer enjoy very heavy games, complicated games, games with complicated rules, games that rely on making super powerful big combos and, for example, the game that a lot of people love, Revive. I simply don't like sitting there and waiting. Even in a 3-player game, I can wait 5, 6, 7 minutes for my turn. In a 4-player game, it's a disaster. I can go and order pizza and eat the pizza, come back, and it's still not my turn. Just because other people make these super powerful, fantastic combos and they think about how to actually achieve those combos. It's fun to play solo, it's fun to play it, it's fun to be the player making those combos and making a 3 or 4 minutes turn and you achieve a lot on your turn. That's super fun. And then you can go away and play a completely different game until the game comes back to your turn. But this is no longer what I enjoy. The games from Vito Lacerda, I like them a lot, but they're so heavy. The last one, Inventions, I played it 5 or 6 times, and every time I play it, it's fun, but I feel like my head is going to explode to figure out how to achieve the effective use of those chain actions. And when I'm asked to play that game, I'm like, do I want to destroy my brain or do I want to have easier fun elsewhere? Now, I'm not saying that I don't want to think in games, that I don't want to play games where thinking and planning is necessary. No, definitely not. I just don't prefer these super heavy games with a lot of rules and long playing times. I just prefer games which are shorter, with simpler set of rules, but a lot of depth, a lot of replayability. And instead of playing one 4-hour game, I just prefer to play 4 1-hour games and have even more fun than playing that one long game. Because these long games, sometimes in the middle of the game or after 3/4 of the game, you know who is going to win, or you know who is far behind. Or you know, sometimes it's quite easy to figure out how the rest of the game is going to develop, and it's just carrying out those actions to actually finish the game. And it's not as much fun as playing those 4 1-hour games or even shorter games to have fun. So this is how my gaming taste has changed from these heavy, big games to, I'm not saying lighter games, but sometimes yes. You will see it in my list. Actually, top 10 was a big surprise for me as well, personally. But not only top 10, the top 50 overall. You will see which kind of games I prefer. And in this bottom list, because I will make 2 videos, bottom 50 and then the top 50. And in this bottom 50, you will see which games dropped down, and I will briefly talk about why they dropped down. So, without any further ado, let's get started. And let's get started with number 100, which is actually one of the oldest games in my list. It's Acquire. I like the gaming system here. I did this list just before Essen. After Essen and in between, I would maybe add few other games into the list, and a few would drop out. And there's a new game called Foundations of Metropolis, which does and looks very similar to Acquire. Works really nice. It's simpler, and maybe it would make it into the list, and maybe some other games would drop out, but Acquire would be still higher, just because the system in this game, how these companies on this square board, how they are developed and how they merge and how players make money from this system. That's such a unique system. It's an old one. I have not seen it being repeated by any other game. Yes, sorry, I'm wrong. Tigris and Euphrates. That game utilizes the similar mechanics when merging the cities. It also involves some conflict there. But this is such a unique system that I want to keep this game in my list. I still keep that game. I have not sold it, and I like what it does. So top 100, the position 100, Acquire. Number 99 is a game called Catherine, the Cities of the Tsarina. Currently with a controversial theme. That theme didn't help the game, and I know that the designers chose the theme long time ago, a long time before the conflict evolved. But I love the game mechanics in this game. I love how simple it is. Just 12 simple actions: play a card, play another one, activate the card on top, and there are 3 or 4 different strategies how to collect victory points, and these are so unique strategies in that game, that in 12 turns there is so much to think about, so many decisions, yet it's fast, it's really going. It has simple rules and it has a lot of replayability. And you can score victory points through area control, through actually discarding cards which are above the limit. You can deliberately keep the limit low to discard many cards to score points. Clever ideas. So I like these game mechanics in this game. 99. 98, Modern Art. This is, for me, it's a party game. Or you can do it as a mathematical exercise, and then it's not that much fun. But if you take it as a party game, we always had so much fun playing this game. The more players in the game, the better. The problem is with 5 players, this can be a 2-hour game, 2 hours even longer. But we have so much fun. It depends on the group playing the game, but we have a good group, and we always have so much fun. Sometimes we just don't understand why people do decisions they do, but sometimes these people win this game. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's an auction game where you sell and buy paintings and you want to make a lot of money. Just fun. Pure long, but pure fun. 97 and 96 are similar games. 97, High Rise. It's a game with, it's not Rondel, it's called Ratchet. Ratchet game mechanics. You move along a track, and you can jump forward, but you cannot go back. And the player who is furthest behind, it is that player's turn. So you can jump ahead, get powerful items and bonuses and whatnot, but then you will have to wait for a long time until it's going to be your turn again. Or you can go by smaller steps, gain smaller benefits, and this decision making, do you jump forward or do you wait? That's the meat of the game. Essentially, you are building skyscrapers in a city in 5 different districts, and you collect the building materials. There are some special bonuses, special effects, and special abilities on various action spots. I haven't played this game for a while, but I still keep it in my top 100 because I liked it that much. And I hope to play it again. And the next game is Glenmore 2 Chronicles, which uses a very, very similar system. It's called, this time it's a real rondel, because players are constantly rotating on this rondel. While in High Rise, there are only 3 cycles. You go from the beginning to the end, and there you stop. You don't rotate. You have to wait for everyone else, and then you start the second round, and then the third. In Glenmore 2, you're constantly moving on the rondel and building some kind of your own village. I like these systems. I like these mechanics. I like how it looks. I like what you do, how you collect resources, sell and buy. There's a beautiful game mechanics for the market, for the resources in this game, and it's just fun. It's sometimes it is a little bit. I have not played it too many times, but I felt like sometimes if a new and powerful tile is laid out, it's sometimes worth to jump half a circle or even more to get that tile to give you a significant advantage in the game. But we have fun playing this game, and that's important. But again, we haven't played it in a long time. Now, coming back to these big Euro games. 95 is Great Western Trail, and Great Western Trail, I used to have it on position 14, then 12, and then last year or 2 years ago, it dropped out of my top 50, and now I have it in 95. The reason is that this is one of those games where it is a Euro game, and you do things, you do stuff. It takes a long time, and I don't really have that much fun playing it. Because I do the same thing over and over and over and over again. I just, how do I say, there are many variations of this game. There's a base game, there is expansion. Actually, I like the base game the most, and the Great Western Trail Australia, and I think New Zealand, and it's still the same thing with some different tweakings. And when I play this game, the more I play it, the less fun I have. And that's the reason why it drops down. I still, if someone asked me to play that game, I would. I would not say no, because I like the game, but I don't like it as much as I used to. And that's why it's dropping down. So I'm not saying this is a bad game. And I'm not saying I don't like it. I like it, but I don't like it as much as I used to. So 95. 94, Frostpunk the board game. I had a little bit of problem where exactly to put this game, because I played it like 11, 12 times, lost all the time. That's the reason why it's so low. The reason why it's still in my top 100 is that I love playing this game. I love the game mechanics. Yeah, the setup is long, but I have the insert which actually cuts the setup time in half. But I like the idea. I just wasn't able to win this game just because some of those decisions didn't make sense to me. I understand that if you have big difficulties surviving with a small community, and then you can save some other people, you actually say, no, I don't save you, just freeze. Because I want to save everyone else. That's something that goes completely against my own humanity, against my own decision making and thinking process. And I know that for that reason, I lost the games. So maybe one day I'll come back and try to actually do it as a mathematical exercise and hope to win the game, because that's how much I like this game. But the fact that I lost it all the time, I don't have any single victory in this game. But I mean, that's the reason why it's so low. But I still have that game. I'm not going to sell it. I will try to beat that game. 93, Spirit Island. I'm not a cooperative player. I mean, I can play cooperatively, but it's not the type of game which I enjoy playing. And I also don't enjoy playing solo. And playing Spirit Island solo with on one tile is not so much fun. I know people play it with like a two-handed two-handed game. If it's cooperative, it's fine, but we prefer competitive games. But I understand and I appreciate how clever this design is and how popular the game is. And when we played it a couple of times, I really had fun. I did, and I enjoyed it a lot. It's still this game doesn't have this alpha gamer problem because you have so much to think about for your own spirit. There's no way you can think about other players' turns. So I like it a lot, but still, it's a cooperative game, which means it's not very high on my list. But since it is in my top 100, I really, really enjoy it. Then 92, that's another dry Euro game called Kylos, and I mean the original one, not the 1303. The reason it is so low is that it just looks boring, and it actually is a little bit boring when playing, but I love what it does, and it's a very clever game. It's almost like a classic game. Maybe it is a classic game, but it's not seeing a lot of play just because there are more interesting, more fun Euro games to play than Kylos. But what it does and how it does, I like it. I like it a lot. I like even the mechanics, which you never know which of those tiles at the end of the road will or will not be activated. That's a little bit, little bit of a guessing. Sometimes it makes other people a little bit angry, but what it does really well. But as I said, to me it kind of looks boring and it's a little bit dry, so that's why it's lower on the list. Then 91 is a little bit more thematic and more fun. It's called Crossing Oceans. I like this game because of the theme and because it has simple rules, and building these shipping companies and trying to accumulate victory points. It's just fun. It's fun to do things in this game. It has this little rondo where you move your action pawn and you take actions on that rondo, and that's the game mechanics which I like a lot. And this game has simple rules. We have played it several times repeatedly, and I had fun every time I played it. It's not a very long game, and decisions are interesting. It's not very heavy game. That's why it's lower on the list. It's not super complicated. Maybe sometimes a little bit random, but I just enjoy the theme, and I enjoy what I do in this game. So it's on my list. Now, number 90 is a completely different type of game, and this is Colt Express. And another factor which I took in mind when creating this list is how much fun I have when playing these games. Colt Express is a game where when we play it as a 6-player game, we have just so much fun. It's simple. It can be random. It is luck dependent based on what cards you draw from your deck. But when we see what's actually going on in that train, what were the intentions of people playing the cards, and how it actually ended up, we just have so much fun. Sometimes there's a player who gets beaten a lot. Sometimes there's a player who has cleverly designed and programmed the steps to pick up that suitcase, and there was someone who did something unexpected, and the player doesn't end up with that suitcase, or loses that suitcase in the very last turn. It's just so much fun. I mean, we have fun. This is not really a game which I would play for the strategic options. This is just 6 players, pure fun. 89, again, coming back to more serious games, Wyrmspan. I like Wyrmspan more than Wingspan. Wingspan is nice. I like these mechanics, but it's a little bit more, I don't know, I have not played it many times. I know there are people who played it tens or hundreds of times. I have not. I enjoy what Wingspan is doing. Wyrmspan is a little more gamer's game than Wingspan. I like how you can combo the actions in Wyrmspan. I mean, all these changes. I simply enjoy Wyrmspan more than Wingspan, but we don't really play any of those. Wyrmspan has seen some play recently, and Wingspan is more popular in our club with new players, just because it has these birds and beautiful illustrations, and people can associate it. People recognize birds more than they recognize, obviously, the dragons. So it's more realistic, and the visuals are better when playing Wingspan. So with new players, Wingspan is more preferred, but from the gaming perspective, I like what Wyrmspan is doing and how they updated and upgraded Wingspan to more gamers game. Now 88, this is a game which I was quite beaten for because it's very, very low. 51st State Ultimate Edition. Looking at my list now, maybe it should be higher, maybe even much higher on the list. We'll see next year. One of the reasons why it's so big, because this is a game from which the settlers, how was the English name? Imperial Settlers, what was made from, and I don't like Imperial Settlers that much, because it sort of navigates you through the game. In 51st State, it's all your decision. It's all about you, how you create your strategy. And I love that game a lot. I don't play that much just because we have many other games to play. But one of the reasons why I don't like why I put 51st State a little lower is actually the theme. I have to say I'm not a huge fan of these post-Apple themes, games where, okay, we have destroyed everything, or things are super destroyed, and now we are kind of regenerating and rebuilding from what we have destroyed. I'm really, as much as I don't like zombies, I don't like these post-Apple theme. That's just I just don't like that theme. Maybe that's the reason why it's all, because the game mechanics is fantastic. It's fantastic, and from the game mechanics perspective, I admit it would be in top 50, and maybe it should be there next year. We'll see. Next one will be a surprise. 87 is a game which was, or a series of games. It's not one game. It was on number 7 2 years ago. It was number 2 in 2021. And now it's 87, and it's 18XX series. And the reason why it's so low is the change of my gaming taste. First of all, I cannot get this game or any of these games to the table. It's long. It has a lot of rules. Even when you say it's actually quite simple, and actually it is. The basic concept is very simple, but there are so many other small rules. Everything has a certain set of rules. Everything you do, when you build when you establish a company, when you build roads, it has certain rules. When you sell shares, when you buy shares, when you sell and buy, when you buy the trains, everything has an additional set of rules. The number of shares in the market, everything has a certain number of additional rules, and that puts so many people off. And it's long. That puts so many people off. I played the game over 250 times online, and various games, 18XX games, and I love them. But honestly, we just finished another game of 18 Chesapeake online, and I didn't enjoy it any longer. I feel like I'm done with this series. I had a lot of love for it, but it's simply gone. It's maybe I would play again in the future 1 or 2 games, but I'm done with this series. It has a beautiful and fantastic dynamics in the game, but it's just so long, and it has so many different rules. So that's the reason why it dropped down. My gaming taste, and as I said, I cannot get this to the table. There is no one I can play this game with. So that's why it's dropping down. 86 is a game called Imperial. or Imperial 2030. I actually cannot decide which one, so we can have both of them here. It was on my list 3 and 4 years ago on positions 20, 21. Then it dropped down, so it's now 86. Just because I cannot get it to the table. The group of people that we used to play it with is no longer with us. It's the same publisher as Crossing Oceans. And I like this idea that we are, well, thematically, it's a little controversial because we are investors and we don't care about the states, and we just try to get as many benefits for we try to get shares and money from states so that we can benefit as investors, benefit from it. And we don't care whether we destroy the states or their armies. We don't care. What I want to have is the best value of my own shares. So that is a bit of a controversial theme, but the actual game mechanics behind are fantastic. I love this game. The more players in the game, the better. Ideally 4, 5, 6 players. I can no longer get these people together to play this game, but I still like it a lot. I've played it a lot, and it has my space in my top 100 games list. Now, another game which is dropping down significantly. It was number 4 in 2020, then 27, 40, 85. And the reason is, again, I cannot get it to the table because there's only one person I can play it with. And hopefully we will play it one day again. And it's Twilight Struggle. I love this game. It's one of the best games I have ever played. One of the best 2-player games I have ever played. If someone asked me to play that game right now, I would immediately play that game. But it's a 5-hour game, 5 hours game. And you have to play it with someone who knows how to play this game, because otherwise it's not fun. Otherwise you will crush that opponent. So if you want to have an equal game, you have to have someone who knows how to play that game. It takes time to know how to play this game. So it's almost impossible for me to find players for this game. Just because it's long, it has complicated rules, slightly complicated rules for many different things that happen in the game, and that's the reason why it's dropping down. It's not because I wouldn't love it. It's just very, very long, complicated rules. It's almost impossible to find someone to play this game with. I know I could do something online, but again, it's a long game. It's 5 hours. That's why it's dropping down on the list. 84, Brian Boru, High King of Ireland. This was 26 2 years ago. Now it's 84. The reason is that I no longer, there's another type of game mechanics which I don't enjoy as much as I did, and that's area control. It doesn't apply to Twilight Struggle. That's about area control, but in general, area control in Twilight, in Brian Boru, for example. This is a 3-player game, minimum 3-player game, and when 2 players are fighting for a region, another player can easily get another region. Overall, an area control is something that I personally don't enjoy much. Maybe it's because every time I try to get a region, there's always someone competing with me, and someone else then is just getting some free regions or regions for free. I don't know. For some reason, I just don't like area controls as much as I like other game mechanics. So that's the reason why Brian Boru is dropping down. It's still in the list because I love the trick-taking mechanics linked to other elements of the game. The same applies to arcs. I can say right now, arcs, I still have to play the game more to see where it is in my list. And unfortunately, other players don't really have that much love for arcs. So I don't know where I would be able to play arcs, but that's another game which combines trick-taking with some area control, with some other game mechanics. That's an unfortunate fact for me. I don't really have people to play with the arcs. So Brian Boru, 84, just because I don't really enjoy the area control that much. 83, Kutná Hora, the City of Silver. I love this game for its new idea and how the game utilizes the resources and this resource market, and that's a clever new system. I like it. The thing is, I'm not a huge fan, and this is another shift in my gaming taste. I'm not a huge fan of getting smaller points just because which symbols of buildings are adjacent to other symbols, the same symbols on the map. That's just, I don't know, I don't know how thematic that is. I'm not a huge fan of this one. There are other games which do the same thing, and it's about positioning. It's not that you build a building. It's not about, you can build that building, but if you build it in a wrong place, then you don't have points for it. If you build it in the right place, then you do have points for it. So you don't get points for building that building, but you get points for where you build that building. And that is something that that's the reason why Kutná Hora is a little lower than some people might expect from me. I still like the game. I still have it. I still want to play it. But this is the reason why it's not in top 50, for example. But as an idea and as the game concept, I still like it a lot. So that's why it's so low. 82, another Euro game, which some people looked at me like, how can it be so low? It's Carnegie. It was on my number 30 2 years ago in my previous list. Now it's 82. Again, area control. A little bit of area control there in those few regions. And again, I have not played it 20 or 30 times. I'm not able to really deep dive into the strategy, but from the games that I've played so far, it looks like you have to start with the buildings at the bottom, which are household buildings. You have to build those so that you can build your income, and then you can come to what are those? I think there are commercial. No, not house. Yeah, household, whatever. It's green buildings at the bottom, then blue, then yellow, and purple. That's how bad I am with themes here. I think purple are civic buildings, and yellow maybe commercial buildings. Maybe I'm wrong. Whatever. But those buildings that may score more points or may give you building blocks, you have to come back to those later because you will not have income, and income is something that you need. So every time I play this game, I have to start building these household buildings. So the path and the strategy seems to me always almost the same, almost the same. That's why it's dropping down to the bottom 50, which means, and I mean, I still, whatever is in my top 100 are the best games I have ever played. It's just 100 of those games, and there are 40, 30 better games that will be in the second video at the top of the list. Which means all these games that are here, I still have these games, and I'm not planning to sell them. I plan to keep these games, and I will happily play them anytime. The reason why they're lower, there's always something why these games are not in top 50, but they're in the bottom 50. So this is it for Carnegie. I feel like I'm struggling in the game. I always try to do the same thing, and that's why it's a little lower. 81 is actually a simple game, a very, very popular game from Dever Games. It's White Castle, a 9 turns game. You only have 9 actions, but you can combo these actions. I enjoy this game a lot. It's a very simple game. It's combo-y game, which is another thing which I don't enjoy as much as I did previously. Comboing things and triggering one mini action after another mini action. That's why it's in the bottom 50. But a very, very quick, easy game. I still like it a lot. But this comboing is the reason why it's getting lower. It's the first time on my list. It's a new game on the list, and it will probably stay in this range. Then number 80 is another new game to the list, and it's the Wolves area control. So that's why it's not higher on the list. But I like what this game is doing. You can when you develop your wolves, you can increase their movement or increase how many walls you can move during the turn, or this howl range. So you can decide how you're going to develop your board. But again, it's an area control, and that's the reason why it's not in my top 50. Because overall, what you're trying to do is control the areas and the scoring areas. You can also get a lot of points from building, a lot of points from hunting, and you have to react to other players. It's highly interactive. That's what I like about the game. But just because it's area control, it is a little lower. And another game, I can repeat the same what I just said. 79, El Grande, the father of all area control games. Again, I love how simple this game is, how highly replayable. We played it so many times, and we have fun every time we play it. But again, this is the game where I feel like, that's the nature of the area control games. I cannot expect that I will be the only one competing for the control of an area. But it just gives me a lot of stress because every time I do something, there's someone else trying to outpace me and outnumber me in those regions. And sometimes when other people do actions which move my pieces, that's a thing which I don't like a lot. So that's why area control with a little bit of other people doing things which have an effect on my armies. That's why it's in the bottom 50. 78 is a game, a very old game, which has just seen the reprint, Through the Desert, Rainer Knizia game. I hope it's Rainer Knizia game. I believe it is. Although this is also area control game, but with clever ideas how to when you use your camels to actually mark an area. This is not about pushing more and more items or armies into an area or any other components. This is about marking the area, which then becomes your area. It's a different type of area control. I like how it works. A lot of thinking behind. And this is a type of game which I really like a lot. But again, this is not a game where I can get a lot of people to play it with me. That's why it's in the bottom 50. But I like it a lot. Through the Desert. 77, First Red. This is a silly theme. Red's trying to build a rocket to get to the moon cheese. But again, I really enjoy the game mechanics of this game. I enjoy how you can move on the track and get more and more powerful bonuses at the top of the track, or you can get additional bonuses in the lower section, and you can still find a way how to get back to the bottom. And there are several ways how to proceed in this game, and what you can do in this game. You can build the rockets, you can train astronauts, you can build the food supplies or collect food supplies for these astronauts. You can do several things in this game, and yeah, it's a silly theme, simple rules. I just love playing this game. That's why it's on my list and it's quite high. I just like that silly theme, and I love what I do in this game and how I do it. I can always choose. Every game can be different. Every game I can try to do different things. Either going high with one or two of my reds, or get out all of them, and stay low, complete the bonuses, additional items at the bottom of the track, and that way collect resources and build rockets, for example. There's so many things and in so many ways that you can do in this game. Love it. So 77. 76 is one of my first, one of the flip and ride or roll and ride, whatever and ride games. I really enjoy these kind of games. And right behind the camera, I have a game called Flip Town, which I haven't played yet, but there's a Czech edition. I'm going to make a tutorial for it, and I'm going to try it. I just never had a chance to play it. But Newsboys is one of those games. It's actually roll and flip and write, and it's a small game from Saatchi and Saatchi. And every time we play it, I just enjoy it so much. It's so easy, simple, really fast to play, and quick play. And you're marking their areas on the map and trying to increase the salary for your newsboys. Simple rules, high replayability. I like it a lot. It's not the highest something and right game on my list. Some of them are higher and some of them are very high. I'll get to those later. Then 75 is a game which I have not played for quite some time, and maybe that's one of the reasons why it's dropping down, but it's not the only reason. It was 46, then 33, and now dropping down to 75. It's Le Havre. The reason why I don't come back to this game more often is that, first of all, it's 2, maximum 3 players game. It's not more than that. And second, there's an abundance of resources in this game, and it's actually about get resources and exchange resources for something else. And there are games higher on my list which I think do it better. I still like it a lot. I still have it. I'm not going to sell it. It's going to stay in my collection because I have a lot of great memories with this game. But this is a type of game where somehow I don't like the fact that in a 3-player game, I can do one, or in a 4-player game, I can just do one action, and I have to feed right away. In a 3-player game, maybe I get 2 actions, and I have to feed, and it's not enough. I mean, I don't mind feeding. I love Agricola. It will be later on my list. I don't mind feeding people and this game mechanics. I don't mind it. I just don't like to do it every second or every third turn of the game. That's what I'm not very fond of in this game. That's why it's getting lower and lower. But it's still a great game. Now, another one which is a little bit surprising for me, I have to say. It was 24 last year, and now it's 74. It dropped down, and it's Mombasa. Alexander Pfister games are dropping in my list. When I was thinking about this game, I compared this game to other games in my list, and it just kept dropping down. And when I looked at my completed list, I was looking at some of those games. Carnegie was one of those. 51st State was one of those. And Mombasa is another game. Why is it 74? I like what this game is doing. Again, another clever game mechanics where you play the cards in different columns, and you have to think about how to group those cards because you then take the column, and the complete column is your hand of cards. That's a very clever system. I like it a lot. And then there's a worker placement. I like that a lot. But then there's this kind of, you buy shares and you never know which shares to buy. And players are developing their companies and extending. I mean, the theme is not that controversial for me. There is a new game called Sky Mines, and didn't impress me too much, I have to say. But I say this. Some people say that this is a game where companies were expanding in Africa, because there is an Africa. I can look at it because I want to have fun. And I look at it like there are companies which sold something in those regions. I mean, if you have a company which simply operates and has a selling, how is it called, sales offices in other countries and more countries. So I take it as these companies simply had sales offices in other regions and they were expanding. But the way people score victory points from these companies and having shares, and the number of shares you have, the value of the shares multiplied by this scoring is a little bit convoluted for me, to be honest. And I don't know, somehow both Great Western Trail and Mombasa, I don't know, something is not, I don't feel like, or I feel like there's something which is not really smooth in these games. That there is a little bit of convolutedness somehow. I can't even describe exactly what it is. But there is something, if someone asked me to play Mombasa, I would. But I would say, I would look at other games. Is there anything else that I would prefer more than Mombasa? For some kind of, I don't know. I don't even know what it is exactly. It's just I feel that this is not really as smooth as many other games in my list, and that's why it's dropping down. Although I still love that game, I have an insert which I really don't buy inserts. Don't buy inserts. I did it for this game because I like it so much, but it's just not in my top 50. And yeah, there is something like, I don't know. And that, so this is what I was very much surprised when I saw my final list, that there are things which are almost like unexplainable for me, why some games are really lower on the list. But as I said, I also considered the fun factor when I created this list. And the games like Great Western Trail, and Mombasa, these are games where I feel like I struggle during these games, and then I have a little bit of fun. But I do have feelings of struggling in these games to get what I need, and I see that things are a little bit falling apart sometimes. So maybe that's the reason why they're falling down. Because looking at 73, Felix, that's the game, small game. It's a bidding game similar to poker. You are bidding for bags of cats, and each cat has a value, and the player with the most, the highest value of highest total value of cats and your coin, the coins, is the winner. Simple bidding, because there are a couple of, depending on the number of players, this is great with 4 or 5. Each player places down 1 card of cats, and only that player knows what kind of cat is that, what kind of value is that. And when your card is at the front, then you have no idea what's behind. And people can either bid higher or take the small amount of money if they pass. If they simply pass, okay, you take the coins, and basically you take a few points and you are out of the round. And when you win, you have to take all the cats in the row. And some of those cats could be high valued, some of them could be with a very, very negative values. Some cats, there are some dogs which scare cats away, so you may see a high valued cat, but then there's a dog which scares it away, so instead of 15 points you get nothing. And this is just so much fun. So much fun. Every time we play this game, we have so much fun, because you don't know, are you bluffing, are you not bluffing, are you trying to win this with this round, or are you trying to get as much money out of my pocket as possible, and then I get a lot of bad cats. This is just fun. And yeah, much simpler than Mombasa. Is it higher than Mombasa? Yes, it is, because I just have way more fun playing this game. And another one just on top of that, 72, is Kodachi, which is another basically push your luck game where you flip cards and you try to reach certain values. Very simple game. We play the game when we go to Essen, for example. We play it on the at the airport. Quick, fast, easy, simple rules, and again, fun. Just push your luck. It's so simple. Is this better than Mombasa? Some people look at me like, this. You must be crazy. This is higher than Mombasa for me? Yes, because I just have fun every single time I play this game. Every single time I play this game. Compared to Mombasa, where I do feel, and Great Western Trail, for example, a similar games way, where a lot of time during the game I feel like I'm struggling, I'm trying to put things together, which I'm just struggling with Kodachi. Even if I fail, yeah, I just had fun. I tried it, I risked it. Simple games. That's how my gaming taste is changing. I prefer games with fun, where I enjoy playing that game. Even if I don't do well, I just enjoy it, rather than games where I may feel some enjoyment at the end because I score more points, but over the course of the game, there's a lot of struggling to get things done. So that's the reason. That's why Kodachi's 72 and 71 is another big game with the push your luck mechanics, and it's the Quacks of Quedlinburg. This one, when we play it with anyone, even with gamers, it's just, yeah, we have fun. Nobody cares who's winning. I mean, some people do, but it's just having fun. You try to get as far on the track as possible when you put these elixirs together. But with these potions, when you brew them, it's just fun. It's a pure fun. That's the reason why it's 71. It's just pure fun. 70. This is another game which dropped down quite a lot from 12 to 70. And the reason, the same, which I already mentioned several times. It's big. It has a lot of rules. It's long. I love playing it, but we don't get it to the table. It's BIOS Origins, the second edition. I love the theme of this game. This is a game so well put together. And I love what I do in this game. I love playing this game. There's just everything I love about this game, except it is long and it has so many rules that getting the new players to play this game is a nightmare. And even getting the players who already played the game to play it, it's like, that's the feeling for, okay, we have to play BIOS Origins? I mean, really? It's long, so many rules, and that's the reason why it's so low. It is higher than these push your luck games because this is really a clever design. And when I play this game, I really have fun, and I enjoy it all the time. All the time, the whole time I play the game, I enjoy what I do. It's so difficult to get this game to the table. Then another game which dropped down just because it's an area control game is The King is Dead, 2nd edition. It was 28, 27, and now 69. Pure 3-player game, very simple, very easy. I love that, but sometimes a player wins just because 2 other players are fighting. And yeah, the area control is the main concept of the game and the game core game mechanics. And since I'm no longer that huge fan of this game mechanics, it is dropping down. But other than that, clever, very clever game. You only have 8 cards, 8 actions during the entire game. Super clever design. I like it a lot. Every time we play it, I have fun, but it's a area control. No longer my really favorite mechanics. 68. 68 is a game which is unlike many other games. It's rock, scissors, paper system, and it's Yomi. 2 players fighting with each other against each other with 2 decks of cards, and each deck has a special abilities, and it's about the street fighting system. So 2 players fighting against each other. Every turn, both players simultaneously play a card, and you have a fast attack which beats slower attacks. I mean, slower, what is it called? A throw. So attack beats the throw, but loses to what's the English word? You can evade. So you can attack, you can throw, and then you can evade. So attack loses against evade, evade loses against throw, and throw loses against attack. So rock, paper, scissors mechanics, and both players have a certain number of health points, and when you bring it down, you win. But there are cards which can provide powerful combos. You have to learn. There are 20 decks in that deluxe edition, which I have. Each deck plays very, very, very differently, so you have to learn to play with that deck. But I remember a couple of years ago, we had I had my cousin here, and we played maybe like 60, 70 games in a row. I mean, not in one day, but he was here for a week, and we played so many games, and we had so much fun with this game. So Yomi 68. I've seen some that it should get a reprint now. Either a Kickstarter, I don't know, but I prefer the old version compared to the new one, which I saw, I have to say. But Yomi 68, love it. 67, another two-player game, but this time really a clever game. It's called Santorini. It has great visuals. It really looks fantastic on the table, and it's about outsmarting your opponent. Pure two-player game, and again, very short, simple rules, quick game, and I love every time playing this game. It's difficult to get new players to the table, because you can crush them obviously on your first couple of games. But when they learn and when they enjoy playing this game, then it's really a gem. But again, as with many other games where players who have played the game have an advantage, I see that many people just don't want to play games just because you are better in that game and you're going to beat me anyway. So, well, if you enjoy the game, then let's sit down and let's learn together the strategy. Let's if you like it, what I try to do with new players with several games, I like to teach them the strategy. I like to sit with them and, okay, let me play with you and let me show you what to do wrong or where you can improve your game. Because if you like it, why not playing it just because I'm a better player? I can teach you how to be a good player if you want it. If you want to deep dive into the game, that's something that I talked about in the beginning. If you want to deep dive into the game, if you want to know the game better, I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to teach you. Just don't stop playing the game just because I am better than you, or you don't play with me because I'm better. You have a chance to learn the game, to play the game better. So that's not only for Santorini, that's for many other games that I can play. I can see this not from everyone, but I see players having this kind of aversion. Okay, I'm not playing this with you because you are better. Okay, if you like it, then learn it. I can teach you. Anyway, Santorini 67, then 66 is another game where I just I have fun, even though sometimes I get pretty blocked. This is a game which I've never had it on my list. I never had it in my top 50, but it deserves a spot in a bottom 50. It's Downforce. This is basically a betting game, racing betting, but the race when you play the card, and the card usually moves several cars at the same time, but you decide in which order, I think. But the fact is that the track can be very narrow in certain areas, and when you move a car, when you play the card and you move the car, then it can block other cars behind. And that's the fun of this game. And it's not about who wins the race. There are three spots on the track where when the first player crosses that line, crosses that spot, every player bets on the cars how they finish the game. So if it's your car, then you may have an advantage. If it's not, you can still bet on cars of other players that they win. You can also win a lot of money if you are the first player. If your car is ahead and you bet against yourself, you bet on someone else. You can do that and then surprise everyone else. So there's such a lot of fun. I mean, even if you block someone, even if I get blocked, I get blocked, I can simply bet on someone else. It's not a tragedy. And after all, this is just fun. Great idea, great game mechanics. I just like it a lot. So Downforce 66. Then 65 is another two-player game. It was 45 in my previous list. Now it's 65, and it's a pure, it's very, very, very small game called Hive. In a pocket version, it's really very, very small. But this you can play anywhere. Those ceramic pieces are beautiful, and it has a lot of thinking, obviously, similar to Santorini. It has some expansions, but even the base game provides a lot of thinking, a lot of fun. If you teach it to someone who likes these types of games, then this is simple rules, quick play, fun to play. You can change size, black and white. Every time you play it, you can play differently, or you can pursue certain strategies. I'm not a super expert in this game, but I can see how different pieces change the strategy. Well, great game. Hive 65. 64 is another two-player game. I will have to make a list of best two-player games. This is a card-driven game, and it's Star Wars, the deck building game. I was surprised. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I'm not a fan. How do I say it? I've never watched any of the Star Wars series. I've never watched many series. I played way more games than I watched movies. So with Star Wars, as I said, I've never watched those series. It's completely a black area for me. I know nothing about it. So thematically, I don't care. It goes beyond me. But the game itself, what we do in this game, is simple core principle. You have your base, you have your planet, you may have some ships protecting it, and then Dominion type of deck building. You have your starting hand, and you improve your hand. You buy more cards from the market. You can discard the cards, remove the cards from your deck permanently with some game effects. And what you're trying to do is to attack the base of your opponent, to bring that life points to 0. And I think in this game you have 3 bases, one after another. After you destroy the third one, you win the game. There's a row in the middle from which you can buy the cards, but you can also destroy the cards that your opponent would potentially buy, for which you get some rewards. But more importantly is that you simply destroy a card which your opponents would buy, and it could be a strong card for the opponent. But if it's a strong card for the opponent, you have to use a lot of power to destroy it. So instead of attacking the opponent, you attack someone or some card in the middle of the row, which is a nice addition. I just enjoy playing this way. This is similar to Star Realm, Hero Realm, and these type of games. I like Star Wars, the deck building game, the best of all of them. And that's why it's on my list. You could easily add Star Wars, the deck building game, / Hero Realms / Star Realms, and these kind of things. But Star Wars, the deck building game, would be, for me, the main game here, the main one, the one which I enjoy the most. So 64, Star Wars, the deck building game. And then another two-player game, the series of, there's a series of two-player games here. This one was 36, then it dropped down last year or the year before, and then it's now 63. Actually dropped down for me out of top 50. and it's Seven Wonders Duel. There is a new edition now. Yes, with the new theme. I cannot recall it. The Lord of the Rings theme. I have not played it yet, just because, yeah, Seven Wonders Duel is in my bottom 50, and there are many other good two-player games. And from what I've seen and whatever, I definitely want to try it. Hopefully, I will try it in the next couple of days. There's a gaming convention which I'm going to visit, so I want to play it there. However, Seven Wonders Duel and also this Lord of the Rings variation, it is a good two-player game. I like it a lot. It's just not in my top 50 just because there are other games better than this one. And for new players, if they're not familiar with the Seven Wonders system, this can be a little difficult to learn. But for players who know the Seven Wonders system, this is a great two-player variation. And now I don't know whether Seven Wonders. No, I have it higher. Okay, just a little. I have the Seven Wonders, the multiplayer game, higher than this one, just because the dual version. The only reason why it's in the bottom 50 is that when there are two of us and we want to play a two-player game, we have better options. We have other games which we turn to rather than Seven Wonders Duel. When we play Seven Wonders, I prefer to play it at least 3, maybe 4-player game, maybe 5-player game, because it's more, for me, it's a little more fun to see what other people are doing. So that's the reason why Seven Wonders Duel is not higher. I still consider it as a great game, a great two-player game. But for me personally, we have better two-player games. And that's the reason why it's a little lower. 62, another two-player game actually. Another one, Mindbug First Contact. I was just trying to remember that there are other expansions, but I like the base deck the most because it's most balanced. The other ones are really, I felt after playing several times with those expansions that they are a little bit unbalanced, and the base one, I like playing with that the most. Similar experience to Magic the Gathering, very, very similar. It has similarities. It's not exactly the Magic the Gathering, but in a very short time with a small deck, you only get 10 cards, and that's everything you get for the whole game. And this Mindbug, when to steal the card from the opponent, because the opponent can do the same for me. This mind game there is the beautiful twist, which I love a lot. So this is one of those two-player games which are better when we sit down to play a quick two-player game. Do we play Seven Wonders Duel or Mindbug? Usually, well, let's get a Mindbug. It's fast. It's easy. It's simple and it's fun, and it's really there's a lot of decision making in this game. So I love this game, the base deck, but really the base deck. If you want to have some fun and you don't mind unbalanced situations, then get the expansions. But I stay with the base deck. It has a lot of replayability as it is. Then 61 is a new addition to the list, which came out in the last couple of months. And this is a game which, when I first played it, I was completely... I think I completely screwed up this game, as do many other people who play it for the first time. It's Faraway, and it's because you play the cards and then you score them from the last one to the first one. Usually, you play the first card, and everything you play after that, when you count it to the first. When you score the first one, everything which is then placed later on the table, the first card scores all the remaining ones. Here, it's the opposite. You only scored basically from the first one. Now, I think I explained it in the opposite way now. Yes, you score. No, and this is why I get confused all the time. And many other play. I mean, you only play 8 cards, and when you play the last one, you flip all of them face down, and then you flip the last one and score that one. So yeah, that's what confuses people. When you play the last one, when you play the cards one by one, and you play the last one, you usually look at everything you already have. Okay, I'm going to score every blue symbol, and oh, I have 6 blue symbols, fantastic. No, you score those blue symbols with your first card, not with your last one, because you flip everything face down, and then you flip the last one face up, and you score everything you see, and you see almost nothing. So this is what confuses people. Then when you wrap your hand around it, it is a little random, I have to say, but there is some skill in how you build it and how you organize it, and yeah, it's fun. I like this concept a lot. I've played it 15-20 times by now, and I still enjoy it a lot. So Faraway 61. Number 60 is a little bit more serious game. It was 39-41. Now it dropped down to 60. And it's not because we don't play this game, because we do play it quite often, I have to say. The Red Cathedral. The reason why it's dropping down for me is, again, the area control mechanism, which is when you score all those towers at the end of the game. That's the only reason. I absolutely love the rondel mechanics and how you collect resources in this game with 3 dice. Not 3, there are 5, sorry, 5 dice. I absolutely love this game mechanism. I want to see it in some other games. Please, game designers, use the Red Cathedral resource collecting system. Use it somewhere. It's so fantastic. It's great. And also building the towers. I love that all. The area control thing is something which puts this game a little lower for me. But it's 60. It's number 60. It's very high on my list. And it was in my top 50. And it's a small game, simple rules. I don't like the expansion. I don't like many expansions. This is the contractors. Yeah. I just don't like it because you have to use those contractors. That simply changes the game. It is then the White Castle contractors. And it changes the game. You have to use those contractors. You have to use the other board. Otherwise, you will lose miserably. So that changes the game for me. That's why I don't like this expansion. But the back games, I like some of those cards, some of those guild cards from the expansion, which don't need the components from that expansion. But everything else, I just don't like that. But the Red Cathedral itself, I'm happy to play the game anytime. Number 60. Number 59 is the train game, which is actually higher than my 18XX series, and this is Ride the Rails. Very simple game where the rules. It's one sheet of paper, A4, one sheet. So 2 pages of rules. That's it. That's how simple rule set this game has. And yet there's so much decision making, so much variability, because players are building train tracks across the United States, map of the United States, and also buying shares. If you buy share of a certain, there are 6 companies, 6 colors. Each company is a different color. And when you buy the share, you can build track or tracks of that company. And there are many cities on the map, and you are moving passengers. In each city there's one passenger, and you move the passenger along the tracks, and for each connection from one city to another, the players who have shares in that company, who build the track, gain some money. There's a lot of math, a lot of counting in this game. That's the reason why it's actually out of my top 50. There is a lot of counting. Usually there's one person, usually it's me, who does all the counting. So someone takes, okay, take this passenger from here all the way here. now count up how much I make. And that's what I don't like about this game. That's the only thing, because otherwise it's a great, fantastic game. The new companies which come to the game later in later rounds will operate in the middle parts or even in the west part. They can bring additional bonuses. You can actually move passengers all the way from the west coast to the east coast, and planning how to build everything so that you score the most victory. It's not points. You earn the most money, because every single point is actually $1 or whatever you want it. So how to build all the tracks so that you earn the most money from moving those passengers, or which shares to buy, so that even if you don't build the tracks of that company, you don't have to build it. You just have to own a share. And if someone else builds and other people are moving passengers, you collect money. That's the meat of the game, and I like it a lot. So Ride the Rails. There's also there are a couple of other games in this series, but I like this one the most. So Ride the Rails 59. 58 is another game which drops down because it's an area control game. From 30 to 43, now to 58, and it's Hansa Teutonica, big box. This is a pure area control game. I love what it does and how it does. This one is the one where the area control concept doesn't bother me that much, but it does a little bit. You can go in many different ways and choose many different strategies in this game, but sometimes it's a struggle to get additional action in this game. And getting additional action is really crucial. So maybe sometimes the fight for getting this additional action can be a little problematic, and that's why this game is dropping down a little bit to me. But every time we play this game, we have fun. We like it a lot, and it's 58 for me. It's very high. 57 is a new game to the list. The game which I completely missed last year at Essen, but then when I had a chance to play it, I was really surprised how much I like this game, and it's called Ancient Knowledge. It's a simple, how to call it? It's a tableau building, and you put a card into your tableau, and it's moving through the tableau. It's like moving through the time, and over the 10 centuries, it is actually moved to the past and to the decline. And there are tokens, the knowledge tokens on these cards, and you have to get those knowledge tokens out, because the more you lose them, the more knowledge you lose, the worse it is for you. But from all these cards, you try to score them as best as possible. And yeah, it works brilliantly. I was surprised how well it actually works, how easy it is to get cards in this game, and how different strategies can work in this game. Yeah, I was surprised. I was really surprised, and I am surprised that I have it so high on the list. I like card-driven games. I like card-driven games. So maybe that's one of the reasons why Ancient Knowledge is so high. I really enjoy it. Simple rules, so many decisions to make. So 57. 56 is a game which I have not played for quite some time, I have to say. But what it does and how it does it, it's so unique. It's called Pingyao First Chinese Banks. It was Kickstarted, and I think it was delivered to backers a couple of months ago. I had the Chinese version of the game with English rules, so actually I had the full game. And in this game, thematically, it's about how the first banks in China were created when travelers, they wanted to have their gold safe. So what they did is they deposited gold into a bank. It was not called a bank, but they deposited gold in one location, and then they traveled without any gold, without anything. They traveled to a new location, and there they have the kind of a banknote, we can call it. And in the new location, in the destination, they handed this banknote to that site, bank site, and took the gold from that site. So that's how they made these journeys safer, and this is how the first banks were created. And this is exactly what you do in the game. You sometimes you gain more gold because you are the banker. You are not the traveler, you are the banker. So you get the gold, and you know you have to give it back 2 or 3 turns later. And in the meantime, you want to utilize that gold to develop your bank or your network of bank or smaller sites. And the fact that it feels like, okay, I have a lot of gold, I'm doing well. Well, you're not doing well because you have to return that gold later. If you don't have it, then it has bad consequences for you. So this mechanics that you get something which you have to return later, this is so unique. It works so well. And all you do, you build additional banks, you build additional sites, build additional buildings, develop your services, and make everything more effective. Great game. I love that this is theme-driven game mechanics, literally theme-driven game mechanics, and it works brilliantly. It's a unique way. I have not seen it anywhere else than in any other game. Fantastic. So 56, Pingyao. 55. Sorry. Earlier, when talking about Brian Boru, I said that I need to play ARCs more to see where I did not realize, I forgot already, that I put it into my list. So it's 55. 55 is ARCs. I need to play it more to see whether I like it more or less. Definitely, I have to play it more. But from what I have played, I played it a couple of times, I really enjoy it. The trick-taking is difficult here. Some people feel like it limits them a lot, and maybe that's the purpose of this game mechanics. But you still have these. You need to collect these tokens, and you can use the tokens as actions. All the people are limited by their cards, and I have watched some reviews of people who've played it 30, 40 times, and they love it. I have not seen any person making a video after playing it 30 or 40 times and saying, you know what, after those 40 times I said, no, this is a bad game. No, I don't want to play it any longer. All those people who played it 20, 30 times, they all said it is a great game. It takes time to learn it. It takes time to learn how to play it well. It takes a lot of time to learn how to actually utilize and how to be efficient with this trick-taking part of the game. It does take time. It has a learning curve. It does, but after that, it's so rewarding. And that's what I felt after my several plays. I haven't had a chance to play it more, but all this, it's so unique. Every time I played it, every decision is difficult. Every time you take an action, okay, I can build. Where? What? Do I build a ship? Do I build buildings? Do I? What's the scoring mechanics? Where do I score? When do I put the scoring token up? I like it so much. I like it so much. I need to play it more. That's why it's still in my bottom 50, but it's pretty much high. It's 55. It really is intriguing me. I want to play it more. But so far I was impressed. Unfortunately, many other people were not impressed that much. There's one more game which has the similar problem, and I'll talk about that game later in the first part in the second video in my top 50. Coming back to my list, number 54, we only have a few games remaining. Number 54 is a game which was 18, 15, then 29. Now 54, it's dropping down a bit just because there is a lot of math in this game, and it's Power Grid. Very old, I mean, more than 20 years old. I have played this game more than 100 times. I love it to pieces, but I admit, when I try to get new players to play the game, because this game is really, really old. And there are many people who started with this hobby 5, 6, 7 years ago. Some people 10 years ago. It's still, Power Grid is still older than this. So when I try to get new people to play this game, they complain that there is a lot of math and a lot of counting, which is true. You have to count how much you can make. You have to count how much money you have, how much money you need to spend on resources. And then when you go to auctioning the new power plants, you have to be sure you know exactly how much you can spend, how much you can afford. And you have to know how much the new power plants are worth, how much you can overpay, or is it worth overpaying them? And all these things, yeah, there's a lot of counting. And then after you finish the auction and you buy the resources, which is another, again, counting. And after you buy the resources and you build some cities, then you have to calculate your income, which is, again, counting the number of cities. Looking at the table, there is a lot of counting, I have to admit. I love it to pieces, but this constant counting and counting and counting, it's like an Excel spreadsheet almost. That's why it's dropping down. So it's now in the bottom 50, but great game. 53 is a game which looks beautiful, although it's just a cardboard. It's Photosynthesis. It was 44, now 53, so it kind of stays there. This is a game where you grow trees, although it may sound strange, but you grow trees from the seeds through small trees and then to the big trees, and then you cut the trees and score points. And the trees collect sunlight, and from the sunlight you got sun points, which are action points, and then you can spend the action points to buy more seeds, more trees, to do other actions, grow your trees, and so on. Sort of an abstract game, very thinky, very thinky. It looks beautiful when you have all those, you have a green, a yellow, an orange, and blue trees, and when it's all on this game board, it really looks beautiful. But figuring out how many these light points your trees will collect and where to build them, there's a lot of heavy thinking, and that's why it's not, for many people, it's not so much fun, just because they have to count and think heavily. But I like it so much just because there is this thinking. For me, it's an enjoyable thinking. I like to think in this way, and visually trying to identify how many points will I score, will I earn, so that I can have these light points to make further actions, when actually to cut the trees for points. I like it a lot. That's why 53, it's very, very high in my bottom 50. And now the last two games. The first one, now 52, is a game which was 15, 17, 20, and now it's 52. And the only reason it dropped down so much is another game which is in my top 10. And I'll come to that game. And actually it killed this one for me, and this is Res Arcana. Phenomenally great design from Tom Lehman, because you only get 8 cards and you play the whole game with these 8 cards. Some of them will be played in front of you, and you will perform actions and effects from those cards. Some cards will have to be recycled for resources, whatever it's called, mana. And the goal is to collect 10 victory points as soon as possible. Not only from your cards, but you will also collect some sacred spaces, so the bigger cards, much bigger cards, and then you make them your private cards, and then you collect a lot of points from those as well. And you have to build up the engine with these cards, and you'll have 8 cards for the whole game. great, fantastic design, and all you have to do is continue using those effects and combine those effects, so create these combos so that you generate, this is like an engine building, and you generate enough points to end the game. I love this game a lot. It has seen a lot of play, and I would happily play it anytime. As I said, the only reason it dropped down out of my top 50 is that there is a new game which for me completely replaced Res Arcana, completely replaced, and we played a new game a lot, and I enjoy it more, which doesn't mean that I no longer enjoy Res Arcana. I do, but that just pushed Res Arcana down. That's the only reason. So 52 Res Arcana, and now 51, a game that was on plus 19, now it's 51. The reason is that we don't play it, well, we don't play it at all because nobody else than me likes this type of game. It's the hidden movement game. For me personally, the best hidden movement game I have ever seen and I have ever played, and it's called Mind Management. The reason why I love this game so much, and for me it's the best game with the hidden movement mechanics, is that you have these four agents or investigators, basically anywhere they are on the map. They can be anywhere and they can still do meaningful actions. Unlike many other games with hidden movement, if you're an agent, investigator, whatever we call it, if this figure is, this meeple is on the other side of the map, then the meeple that you're trying to find, then usually that meeple is just useless. It will take a lot of time to move him closer to the action, and there's not much you can do with him. In Mind Management, you can use the symbol from that part of the map, combine it with a symbol from another part of the map, and actually do the meaningful action. And that's what I like about it. They don't have to be physically close to the, what's the name? I mean, to the people that you are trying to find. You don't have to be physically close to them. You need to be at least with one if you want to catch them. But if you have meeples on the other side of the map, you can still do powerful, meaningful action. So that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. Another reason is that you try to identify where that hidden person is, and you have clues. And I like how these clues are putting together. How you get some clues, and it's up to you to figure out. Sometimes there is some mind game. There is a mind game. Did he go that way or that way? What is he trying to do? This, I don't exactly recall the name, but this person that you're trying to find, he is recruiting recruits. If he recruits enough recruits, then he won the game. And you also try to identify, again, by these symbols, where these recruits are based on the remaining symbols. Difficult to explain, but I have so much fun. Every time I play this game, I have so much fun. The problem is I don't have people to play this game with. We have some people who like hidden movement games, but they like Fury of Dracula, just because there is some fighting as well. There's no fighting here. You simply have to analyze where the other person is. So that's the reason why it's dropping down. But I love this game so much. For me personally, the best hidden movement game. Although I have to say, I've just got Kelp, which got a lot of great reviews recently. I need to try it. But this one, Mind Management 51, that's a game which at the moment for me is the best hidden movement game. So that's it. That's my bottom 50. In the next video, I'll do my top 50, and you will probably be quite surprised which games will appear in the top 50, and especially in top 10, as I said, because I was surprised as well. But even looking at the games in the 40 to 50, 30 to 40, there are many games which are played in 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. And I have a lot of fun playing these games every single time I play them. They don't have to be super complicated. They don't have to have many rules. They don't have to play for 3 hours, and I still have a lot of fun with them. So this is a teaser for the next video. Thank you very much for watching this bottom 50. My name is Branislav Berec. This is my list of top 100 games of all time as of 2024, and looking forward to see you in my next video. So thank you, and bye. I would like to thank everyone who has ever supported the channel, and especially the current supporters listed on this page. If you too would like to support the channel in creation of videos like this and other video tutorials and other content on this channel, please visit the patreon.com/Nithrania.